an advisor with the Adventurers Guild. And this little thing is my buddy Lumi. If you've got any questions about adventuring in the wild, I'm your gal. Oh yeah, and if you ever come across any strange or unusual creatures on your adventures, be sure to tell me all about it. Lumi, time to go! Have become keener.
May the Animo Archon protect you, Deacon Darling. It's been some time since we last met. I did not expect... I went home as soon as I could. But Jean was working overtime at the Knight's headquarters, and Barbara had already gone to the cathedral, so...
I just lied to Deaconess Barbara, hiding the truth that Venti is, in fact, Barbados from her.
You can tell her the truth, you know. Barbados said so himself.
I actually did. But she warned me that I'd be picking every last weed from the cathedral's front lawn if I said that again. Maybe you could give it a try?
For the sake of our bond as parent and child, perhaps it might be best if Barbados revealed that truth to the faithful in person.
That said, are you also unaware of Miss Frederica's whereabouts?
I doubt he had time to keep track of her whereabouts either. The letters we exchange mostly contain pleasantries, but it comforts me to know that she is well. I sent word of this home so Barbara knows as well. I would say that Jean would know Frederica's whereabouts best, but she shoulders a heavy responsibility. This family of ours. Any Mondstadter who leaves their windows open inviting the company of the wind shall be guided towards eventual reunion. Let the wind lead according to his blessings. Now, if I may be so bold, would you hear my confession, Deacon Dahlia?
She's out on a secret mission, as you know full well. Can't tell you about it, no sir. In any case, you'd have better luck asking Jean. Oh, come on. I know acting Grandmaster's a rough gig. I mean, I'm back, aren't I? I'll help her out for sure.
Oh, for Barbados' sake. Would it kill you to sit in that office yourself, Varka? Jean's exhausted. She needs rest. And by that I mean people need to force her to take some. Just look at her. You'd think she was the only person in Mondstadt without the right to drink and sleep.
The duty to drink and sleep, I think you mean.
Thank you for the corrections, Grandmaster. Why, if I hadn't been appointed Cardinal, I'd...
Whoa, relax. You're acting like your old adventurer self again. You know, like how you were back when you and Frederica came to Mondstadt together. Years and years spent to the Church of Favonius on her account hasn't changed your temper much, I see.
I joined the church because of the Animo Archon's guidance.
Sure. You're the cardinal here, not me.
Barbados give me strength.
All right, don't worry. I'll figure something out, okay? I've already asked Hertha to put out a call for recruits. And that kid Lowen's just about ready for bigger things, too. Now, all we gotta do is find a few more deputy captains, and Jean will be able to rest much easier.
I only pray that the presence of these deputy captains decreases rather than increases her workload.
Oh, they'll do great! Don't you trust me, Seamus?
Animo Archon willing.
One of our top advisors has recently returned to Nodcry from a trip away. Her expertise is varied and broad, and she often gives lectures at Speranza. If you have any questions, you could try asking her for help.
All right then. Next, let's go over some more tips for adventuring in Nodcry. If you found yourself getting hungry in the wild, what are some things you could eat? Correct! 10 points to you!
Yahoo! That must be who Catherine was talking about. She looks pretty young for an advisor, though. How knowledgeable can she really be?
Wrong answer! Who are...
Bring it on!
Every adventurer knows to pack a compass and a map before heading into the wilderness. But where would you go to buy these things?
Listen up, everyone! The answer is... the Adventurers Guild!
Oh, really? But I hear Mimas Brunner Books sells them too, and at a very low price. Well said! But even with a high-quality map and compass, the wild can still be a dangerous place. What should you do if you're being chased? Correct! Although the Ratniki's main duty is to deal with the wild hunt, part in a competition. If you have any questions, you can ask at the Adventurers Guild. I haven't met many adventurers who can keep up with me. Consider me impressed.
Likewise! You really know your stuff. You're everything Paimon would expect from an Adventurers Guild advisor. Huh? What's the deal? Don't get so close! Traveler, there's something wrong with her!
Actually, I was going to ask. Your little friend is so clever and cute. I love how she flies around, too. Can I pet her?
Whoa! Stay back!
Don't be afraid. I'm not gonna hurt you. Come on, come here. Could you tell me your story? How did you two meet?
Is that your partner there? No.
Yep, her name is Lumi. She's my trusty assistant.
Hey there! Yahoo! Wait, so you're saying Lumi comes from the northern tundra?
Pretty much. There are 6 types of fae commonly found in the tundra. Lumi here is a Jack Frost. That's one of them.
Jack Frost? Interesting name choice. She doesn't exactly look very frosty.
An excellent observation. In fact, Lumi is no ordinary Jack Frost. She's a special one. The first time I met her, she was wearing this weird cardboard outfit with ugly splotches of paint on it, as if she was trying to disguise herself as a regular Jack Frost. I stayed and watched her for a while, and I discovered that some other mean Jack Frosts were ganging up and bullying her because she looked different. They stole all the food she'd gathered and kicked her out of her sleeping spot. Lumi couldn't fight them. She had nowhere else to go, so she found an old cardboard box, painted it blue, and put it over her head, hoping to blend in with the group. Whenever she was discovered, she'd get beaten up, and the rest of the time she lived in constant fear. Until one day, seeking shelter from the rain, she clung to me and wouldn't let go. We've been partners ever since.
What a story! Oh, poor Lumi. Sounds like she's had a tough time.
As for why Lumi is so different from other Jack Frosts, I'm still looking into that. I'm thinking it's either a mutation or an atavism. Or maybe some sort of curse? Hopefully I'll find the answer one day. But either way, we're best friends for life. Nothing can change the special bond between us. Speaking of which, given how long it can take to build a strong bond with another creature, if you're serious about entering the competition, my advice is to pick an animal friend that you're already pretty close with. Otherwise, the odds are gonna be stacked against you.
An animal friend I'm close with, huh? Actually, we're kind of spoiled for choice on this one. Who do you think would be the best fit? Huh? Aguara? What are you doing here? Oh, look at them!
Oh! I was wondering what all the commotion was. Looks like this is where it's at.
Itto, what the heck? Either Paimon's seeing things or you're not here for the competition too, are you?
Why else would I be here? Cost me an arm and a leg to get a boat all the way to this Crawd-nigh place.
It's not Cry.
Hey there, I'm MUALANI. Are you a friend of the Traveler and Paimon Stew?
I sure am. Nice to meet you. The name's Arataki Beetle Gladiator ITTO, head honcho of the world-famous Arataki gang of Inazuma.
That's quite a mouthful. Wait, did he say Arataki gang? Why does that sound so familiar?
Just call him Arataki Itto. This guy's a bona fide buffoon.
Hey, who you calling a buffoon, you flying lavender melon?
Flying lavender melon. Wait, so you're some sort of mutated lavender melon? You don't look like a melon.
Paimon's not a mutated melon, or any kind of melon. How could a melon be this cute?
Oh, I remember now. Kuki Shinobu, right? She's mentioned the Arataki gang before.
Huh? No way! You've met my deputy?
She stopped by the Flower Feather clan recently to take the flying trial. Chaska said she was a natural. Hold on. If she's that good and she's only the deputy, you must be way stronger than I imagined. Look.
Word is that the early birds get the best draws. You snooze, you lose. Laters, compadres!
How did you know I was gonna...
Now counterattack! Pummel it!
The Golden Beagle! What a wonderful dream! The ship gently swaying as it carries me to a faraway land. Oh, what a feeling! What happened? I thought I was on the ship. Is this the Golden Beagle?
This is the natural circle of life. We don't live that much longer than humans. This day was always going to come. I can't pretend I'm not sad. But at the same time, I wonder how an ordinary person would react to hearing this news. At the very least, they wouldn't have to endure this horrid feeling of having tears they're unable to shed. After all, we've already seen how all of this would unfold, long before it ever came to pass. Remember, when you passed out during that competition? You saw it all as you lay there, unconscious. At the time, you thought it was just a dream.
What is she talking about? No. No. This can't be true.
I understand how you feel. One moment you're gazing into the future from the past, the next, you're there, looking back at where it all began. When these two perspectives collide, how can the journey not feel like a dream? Time flies. One day, we too will grow old. Is it even possible to live a life without regrets?
A long time ago, my friends and I talked about our dreams. Mine was to buy a research vessel and explore the mysteries of the world. Then, when too old for a life of adventure, I'd combine everything I'd learned into an illustrated atlas of nature. My entire life is recorded in these pages. Maybe one day, a long time from now, someone will open them and see that there are sections on the formation and evolution of certain creatures and environments that remain blank. Whoever you are, I entrust the task of filling those blank pages to you. The end of my time grows near, and I can no longer travel very far. This feels like an illusion, yet at the same time, so real. The end of life. So this is what death feels like. I still feel some faint sensations in my stiffening body, but I can't so much as move a finger. As the warmth flows out of me, I feel no pain. Just the emptiness that remains after everything else has slipped away. So it wasn't a dream, after all. It's all... Do you remember when we were at Speranza and I told you guys about my childhood? Well, there were a few details I left out. I wasn't a very cheerful kid, nor was I all that brave. Before I told my human parents about being a fae, I spent so many sleepless nights tossing and turning. I knew what might happen once I told them. I desperately hoped they'd say, "Linnea, even if you aren't our child, we still love you." But I knew that was impossible. Their own human child was out there somewhere, as were my fae parents. Our family was a lie. And all lies unravel with time. So, even though I was terrified, And even though I knew I might end up an unwanted child, I eventually mustered the courage to tell them. I did what I thought was right. I knew things might not turn out how I hoped, but I wasn't going back on my decision. The same applies this time. I have to see SELENO. SELENO, I know you're in there. Please, I need to talk to you. SELENO.
I'm not here.
R2?
Am not. Quit bothering me.
Not a chance! If you don't open the door, I'll be waiting right here outside until you change your mind. I have so many questions to ask you. Can you at least answer this one? Who are you to me? Are you my sister? Open the door!
All right. Stop yelling. Come in. Curiosity is a dangerous trait, Linnea. You're gonna regret coming here. Don't say I didn't warn you.
You sure about that? Because if I hadn't come here, I'd be regretting it already. Will you please answer me now? Why do we have the same wings on our heads? Why did I pass out when I touched you? And why did I see all those...
Visions of your future?
So, it wasn't a dream after all.
Of course not. Linnea, you're an avid student of the natural world. Surely you're aware of the 6 most common types of Fae?
The Vila, Domovoy, Leshy, Volkodlok, Snegovic, and Jack Frosts.
Right. Well, there are many less common varieties too. The legendary Lantern Fae, the Sirens with their lilting songs, and us, the Augury Birds. We foretell both disaster and delight, gazing upon the past dawn and future night. Others fear and revere our might, while we alone detest our plight.
I've never heard of an augury bird before, or the poem you just recited.
That's hardly a surprise. You can count the number of augury birds alive today on one hand. And that includes you and me.
So it's true then. We really are family.
Family. Augury birds are born with a peculiar ability. We can see crossroads in the flow of fate. Immutable future events that all paths will lead to.
Are you talking about prophecies?
Doesn't surprise me. Humanity has many ways of observing fate. The stars, the ley lines. Our abilities are feeble in comparison. We can only see our own fates. If a friend wants to know their future, or someone is concerned about the destiny of the world, we're powerless to help. But the way it feels to witness your own fate, I trust you understand by now, Linnea.
It certainly wasn't fun. Those prophecies brought a flood of emotions with them, from excitement to frustration to bitterness. By the end, all I was left with was a kind of numb emptiness. I had a goal in life, and before I even had the chance to start fighting for it, I saw how it would end. It's like someone spoiled the ending of a story I was really enjoying.
Wait till you've tried to defy fate and found how powerless you are to change it. That's when the real suffering begins.
Everything is transpiring as I foresaw, yet I am powerless to change it. Fate is an immutable force. I can but lament as the inevitable unfolds. I do wonder whether giving a man the power to see the future does nothing more for him than slowly crush his spirit.
When you know every joy and every sorrow you'll ever experience, and there's nothing you can do to change it. Like you said, it leaves you with a numb emptiness. Generation after generation of augury birds lived with this burden. Until you were born, and our parents found the only solution they could think of. If an augury bird is sent far from the Fae to grow up among humans, the awakening of their prophetic abilities could be delayed.
So that's how I became a changeling. What about the child I was switched with? What happened to her?
Don't worry, she had the opposite problem to you. She needed to live among the Fae. She was born with a strange, rare disease that humans cannot cure. If she hadn't been switched, she would have died a long time ago. Our parents saved her life, then raised her as their own. Eventually, her birth parents came to find her, and now they're living together in Snezhnograd.
I see. Wow. It all makes sense now. But there's still one thing you haven't explained. Those things you said before I fainted. What did you mean by all that?
I meant exactly what I said. I don't like you.
But why?
No reason.
So we're back to this? If you won't tell me, I'll have to guess myself. CELENO, are you jealous of me?
Good guess. But I wouldn't call it jealousy. More like resentment. By the time our parents came up with a solution for you and sent you off to live with the humans, I was already tormented by visions. If I'd been born just a few years later. How cruel fate can be. Mom and Dad would sneak over to Nodcry to see you sometimes. They talked about you non-stop. Even that human child got more attention than me. I came with them once, to Nodcry. When I saw you there in the distance, living your carefree life, I was torn apart by jealousy. But I had to pretend that nothing was wrong. Even that I wished you well. Did no one ever consider how I felt? What was I to them? A reject? A failure? A pitiful wretch abandoned by fate?
Oh, CELENO.
All of this led to me deciding, a long time ago, that when you were old enough, I'd come pay you a visit. My plan was to tell you the truth about everything. And then, you would share in my suffering. I know. What kind of horrible person would want to do that to someone? Someone like me, apparently.
Then why did you hide from me? You really want me to keep guessing?
It was because I found out the image of you I'd built up in my head. Of happy-go-lucky LINNEA, spoiled by her parents and coddled by fate. It was all just a fantasy. I overheard you and Speranza talking about your past. Desperately trying to hide the truth about who you were. Somehow getting by with a ragtag bunch of kids in the conch gang. You described it so nonchalantly. But it was eating me up inside in that moment. I didn't want to see you suffer, and I couldn't go on resenting you any longer. I just wanted to hold you tight and tell you everything will be fine, that you still have a family.
Hey, sis. You're really not cut out to be a villain. So much for making me suffer, huh? Now you're the one crying and I have to comfort you. But I understand now. That feeling you had, it wasn't resentment. You were just lonely. I've always wondered about my real family. I'm so glad you were willing to see me, sis.
Thank you. All of you. This is not how I expected this to go.
Don't mention it. Paimon thinks it's always best to get everything off your chest. That way, everyone can go back to being happy.
You're right, Paimon. I haven't been this happy in a long time. Hey, Seleno. I was wondering, how did you end up with a Radiant Bladehorn as your partner? All the ones I've seen in the wild have been hyper-aggressive. They certainly wouldn't let me get close enough to touch them.
We met that time when Mom and Dad brought me to see you in Nodcry. Hemus was still a baby then. Must have gotten separated from his parents. I ended up looking after him for a while. I suppose our friendship was preordained. Just like my upcoming victory in this competition. An immutable crossroads in the flow of fate.
Immutable?
You're welcome to try to fight it, if you want. Prepare to experience just how cruel fate can be. Leave this competition and fly somewhere far away. I promise you, something will happen to force you right back here. Or if you prefer, you could go all out and try to beat me. But I have both luck and superior strength on my side. It's a gulf you will never overcome. The prophecies we see are the meeting points of every possible path. There are many possible roads into the future. But they all lead to the same destination in the end.
Now that I know the pain of seeing my own fate for myself, I have to ask, how have you kept it going all these years?
I learned to submit to fate. I just have to accept what will happen. There's no other choice. Since the outcome can't be changed, how I get there doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. Every crossroad I've foreseen is a curse. So the best I can do is chase a little happiness in the unknowns between them. But what about you, Linnea? What's your perspective?
I think I see things differently. How about we continue this conversation after the tournament? I'd rather give you my answer then.
All right, just don't get your hopes up about the future. I don't want to see the disappointment tear you apart.
I'll be fine, trust me. Anyway, we'll leave it there for today. See you in the arena! Charge, Hemus! Don't panic, Lumi! Remember your training? I'm right here. Ready? Now jump! Attack! Stop her!
This is the will of fate. It was over before it began.
Lumi! Lumi! wide world awaits.
Don't worry, Hemus! Victory will be ours!
Lumi. You were amazing! I didn't know you could grow that big!
Whatever path you take, it always leads to the same place. Fate is so cruel.
Seleno, do you remember the question that you asked me? I told you I'd give you my answer after the tournament.
I remember. And I'd still like to know what you think.
You told me. There are many possible roads into the future, but they all lead to the same destination in the end. Well, I prefer to think of it the other way around. We might already know where we're headed, but we get to choose how we get there. Maybe fate will always lead us toward the same destination, but I never cared much about the outcome. I just want to walk my own path. So, even if I was destined to lose to you, there was no way I wasn't gonna give it everything I had. And even if my ship ends up at the bottom of the ocean, I'm not gonna let that stop me from sailing it to every corner of the world first. If all people care about are outcomes, then why doesn't everyone give up on happiness and love? After all, the certainty of death is the one thing that every person knows about their fate. But my feelings, my thoughts, everything I've seen, all that exists beyond the reach of fate, they belong to me, and no one else controls them. Lumi, sounds like you agree, right?
LINNEA. Ignorance really is bliss.
Even when we're scared and uncertain, it's important to face the truth head on. You sure about that? Because if I hadn't come here, I'd be regretting it already.
How I envied your cheerful optimism when I first saw you. I thought your happiness was all thanks to your obliviousness to fate. Yet now you've witnessed your fate and experienced failure. And still you haven't let it drag you down. Perhaps I was wrong from the start. The difference between us was never about knowledge of our destinies, it's about having the courage to accept it. And you found your answer. A truth that transcends fate itself.
I've heard it said that people can find their fates by studying the stars. I guess that means that fate's been looking down on us this whole time, huh? I could really do with some sleep. Good night, you guys.
Interesting. Hemus! We showed them no
Dude! That little munchkin's got some style!
It's a trip to the hot springs if you win.
Hemus, full tilt! Aguara, charge!
Do you have any regrets?
I'd be lying if I said I didn't regret it even a little bit. But who wouldn't? All we can do is live our best life and hope to look back with as few regrets as possible. And overall, I had a really great time in this competition. I found my long-lost family, and we really care about one another.
Inspiring words from Linnea. Now it's time for our final interviewee. Please welcome Viliana from Snezhnegrad. Anything you'd like to share with the crowd?
Well, I've been really loving Nodcry. There's so much to see and do. I'm planning to stick around for a while, so if you see me around, come and say hey.
Thank you to everyone who took part in the Spirit Envoy Championship. We hope to see you next time.
Without me around, your prophetic abilities will be slow to develop. But you should know that since you've been to the tundra and you've encountered others of your kind, it's only a matter of time before your abilities fully awaken.
I'm sure you already know how I'm going to respond, sis. I'm not afraid to know the future. All that scares me is the prospect of a life without you, Mom, and Dad.
I know. Well, write me whenever you want to see me. I'll be there in a heartbeat. And when you're ready, come visit us in the tundra. I'll give you the address.
Thanks, Seleno. I can't wait to see you again.
Yahoo!
I can feel the flow of energy, like a sailor who has mastered the patterns of the ocean currents. This voyage will be much smoother from here on out. My knowledge is transforming into intuition. I believe in this world as I do in a daisy.
can't believe it's not just the moonglow fireflies. Even cats can get eaten.
Yerva. Make sure you keep a close eye on Pavlov the next time you take him for a walk.
Don't worry so much. Pavlov's a lot bigger than a cat. Besides, they're just plants. What's the worst they could do?
I remember a certain fresh-faced adventurer saying something similar, right before coming face to face with a hexadecatonic mandragora.
Hexadecatonic mandragora. Awesome!
Yeah. Oh. What are you all hollering about, huh? Paimon heard the commotion from miles away. Is this some sort of class?
Yep, it sure is. Linnea's telling us all about her recent findings.
Of course! Please take a seat. Since we're on the subject of hexadecatonic mandragoras, there's another notable variety of plant that can be found near Void Sea Outlook.
You must mean Winter Ice Leia.
Spot on! I'm talking about Winter Icely.
Hey, Yerva, that's cheating! Linnea didn't even finish asking.
Sorry, I got carried away and jumped the gun. Don't worry, there'll be plenty more questions to answer. Right, Linnea?
Enough for everyone! Get your answers at the ready, and you'll all have the chance to earn yourselves a sugar sculpture.
Ooh, a sweet, sweet sugary reward! Come on, Traveler, this is our time to shine.
Right! Back to the topic at hand. There's actually an interesting story about Winter Icely. Legend has it that this plant held a deep connection to the King of Winter Icely. Now, the King of Winter Icely had a brother, whose own symbolic plant is something you should all be very familiar with. Can anyone tell me what it is?
Paimon's definitely familiar with those, but that's probably not the right answer.
Incorrect. The correct answer is midsummer berries.
Midsummer berries? All I know is Katya and Aino both make delicious midsummer tort.
Midsummer berries are the symbol of the King of Midsummer Oak, brother to the King of Winter Icely. Legend has it that these two twins have been fighting since birth. They each take turns killing the other, only to be resurrected once more. Each rules their own season, with this cycle of death and rebirth continuing until the end of time.
That's so sad. Despite being connected by blood.
Katya once told me good relationships have nothing to do with blood. Sometimes it's precisely those connections that cause conflict to arise.
How very perceptive of you. You're right, of course. That's exactly what the scholars of Snezhnaya think the story represents. What's more, due to Winter Icely's hardiness and resistance to the cold, it's also considered to be a symbol of the Light Keepers.
The leaves will keep their promise. Paimon's heard that saying before.
It's a very old saying, and hardly anyone still uses it nowadays. I'm surprised you're even aware of it.
We're seasoned adventurers, which means we're... What was it again? Oh yeah! Well-traveled and well-read.
The Light Keepers. They're the ones who dress in black, right? Are they also hardy and resistant to the cold? But their clothes look so warm. If they really are so resistant, couldn't they wear a bit less?
You've got it all muddled up. What Linnea means is that, just like Winter Icely, the Light Keepers stand tall in the face of hardships as fierce as the icy wind.
Wonderful! Your interpretation is spot on. But let me ask, how did you arrive at that understanding?
Helga sent me a handbook, all the way from Fontaine. She told me about the language of flowers,
Now, all the flowers of Fontaine have their own secret meanings. I think if Winter Isley has a meaning, it must be something like unbending. Or maybe the courage to persevere until the end. Well, someone's clearly learning to draw inferences. Well done! And Miko, you may have approached it from a very different angle, but your sense of logic is certainly interesting. Let's see if you two can answer this next one.
Ask away! No question's too hard for the traveler.
Such confidence! In that case, I'll ask you one of my hardest. Why do nocturnal blossoms come in both red and blue?
Alright, so what's the answer? Nocturnal blossoms aren't the only things we've seen in Not Cry that are red and blue. Come to think of it, we've seen red and blue stuff all over the place. If you're asking about the one thing that stands out most about Not Cry... Hey! Stop trying to explain everything away with the power of Kuvaki. There's no way the answer's gonna be as obvious as that.
You're correct!
What? Seriously?
It's common knowledge for those of us who live in Not Cry, but not so much for adventurers visiting from afar. So in context, I suppose it could be considered a tricky problem? But you weren't fooled by the question at all. It looks like you're on the path to becoming a real stellar adventurer. All right, that's it for today. All the students who answered a question can have a sugar sculpture!
Huh? Wait a second! Don't tell Paimon that she's the only one who doesn't get any candy! If Paimon had known, she'd have answered more questions! Even if she'd have probably gotten them all wrong.
Don't worry, don't worry. You'll get yours too. You and the Traveler are a team, just like Lumi and me.
Well, Miss LINNEA really is the best teacher ever!
Oh.
Trust me, when it comes to local delicacies and beer, nobody knows more than me.
There's another legend that claims the opposing colors of the nocturnal blossom represent two sisters from the Frost Moon Scions.
Do they kill each other too? I noticed that lots of stories have siblings who end up killing each other. What's up with that? We're not like that in the Conch gang.
Hey! Let LINNEA finish the story, will you? I bet the sisters make up in the end. Right? Otherwise, why would people use the nocturnal blossom with its two flowers joined together to represent them? I hope they make up in the end.
Linnea's always dashing up to here, there, and everywhere. But she still makes time to share her knowledge with us. I've learned a lot from her, and I'm grateful for that.
having fun.
Greetings. Greetings to you too, Luanatar. Yes, I saw people playing with their friends using cups at the flagship, so I borrowed the idea. They would place a gemstone under a cup, then quickly shuffle the cups atop the table. Upon stopping, they would have the other player guess which cup the gem was under. The Kuhenki loved the feeling of spinning about while wrapped up in cloth, so I used Miss Mage's hat as a reference and made some improvements.
Wait, so you went to the flagship? Did anyone recognize you?
Some did ask, and I said, I'm dressing up as the moon goddess today. I look just like her, don't I?
Wow, you've really taken that trick from Moonprayer Night and ran with it.
Well, not entirely, but they didn't talk to me afterward either. Was my acting not natural? I'll keep practicing somewhere else next time.
Why does it feel like someone learned all the wrong lessons?
Luanatar would like you to guess where she's hiding. Would you like to play around? In that case, please stake 100,000 mora to start with. Those are the flagship's rules after all.
Okay, you definitely should have skipped that lesson.
We're about to begin. And spin. Can you guess where Luanatar is? Bingo. Was that too easy for you? Should you come around to play again, I will try to shuffle the hats around faster.
Paimon's curious. How exactly did you play with them earlier? You can't see anything if you don't use Kuvaki, but if you do use it, you'll see too clearly.
Well, I can open my eyes, right?
Oh yeah, didn't think of that one.
Luanatar says that she is very happy, and that we should play again next time.
So shiny. Lumi, no! You can't eat.
Defensive mode engaged.
Dumb, Lumi!
Lame. Insulation chamber.
This is a pretty good haul. Lucky you.
A new formula.
Well, perhaps this scent will suit her. Feast your eyes. There's fresh venison today. Well, perhaps this scent will suit her. Gather round, feast your eyes. There's fresh venison today.
Wow! Speranza's busy today. What's everyone chatting about?
We're trying to decide what the most beautiful rock in Nod Cry is. My vote goes to Moonfall Silver.
Since Aoni's not here, I'll go for Icy Pebbles on her behalf.
Then I nominate Rainbow Drop Crystals. They come in loads of colors, and you can even make weapons with them. They're way more useful than Moonfall Silver and Icy Pebbles. Well, I don't think a rock that just looks good but doesn't do anything can really be considered beautiful.
Actually, Moonfall Silver has quite a few uses too. Although they're certainly not as common in daily life as those of Rainbow Drop Crystals. As it happens, during my investigation, I came across some interesting stories about clothes woven from Moonfall Silver.
Huh? No way! You can weave clothes out of rocks?
So you find it hard to believe too? Well then, you'd best sit up straight and listen close.
Clothes made of Moonfall Silver? Oh, Paimon's super curious too. Come on, Traveler. Let's stick around to hear this.
Once upon a time, there was a Fey governor in Nodcry who was obsessed with rare trinkets and had a passion for dressing up. This governor's advisors worked day and night, desperately struggling to find new and exotic clothes for their master. Then one day, a young tailor dressed in black came calling. He claimed to have inherited the mysterious techniques of the Golden Realm, and that he could spin crystals that glow like the silver moon into thread for weaving clothes. The governor was overjoyed. He promised to pay the young man handsomely if he would stay and make him clothes. The young tailor requested a vast quantity of Moonfall Silver be delivered to his workshop, and demanded that no one disturb him while he worked. Naturally, the governor agreed. When the scheduled time arrived, the governor found the workshop completely empty, with neither Moonfall Silver nor any clothing to be seen. Having eagerly anticipated his new clothes, he hurriedly asked, "Where did all the Moonfall Silver go? And where are the clothes you promised?" The young tailor raised his hands, and, as if he were shaking out a piece of fabric, said, See? I took the moonfall silver you sent me and wove it into this gown, as pure as moonlight itself. Too pure, in fact, for a fool or an unremarkable man to even perceive. The governor asked his advisor how the gown appeared to him, to which the advisor responded by saying it was the most magnificent gown he had ever seen, just like real moonlight woven and given form. The governor could not see a thing, but unwilling to admit he was either a fool or unremarkable, he did as the tailor bade and put on the moonlight gown. To show off his extraordinary new gown, the governor decided to parade it and himself along the busiest street in town. But as he did so, he heard a child with a conch in his belt shout out,
The governor isn't wearing any clothes!
It seems like our Miko has guessed how this story ends.
The tailor was a cheat. There are people like that in Nasha Town, too. I heard about this one lady from Sumeru who schemed a whole bunch of folks.
Good question. According to the story, the young tailor was none other than Reed Miller in disguise. He traded the moonfall silver he took from the governor for Mora and gave it to the poor townsfolk. While the governor was parading himself through town, Reed Miller was enjoying the show from a nearby rooftop.
He really got around, huh? I've already lost count of the number of stories he's popped up in.
But if he was lying about the whole thing, then doesn't that mean there were never any clothes made from moonfall silver to begin with?
I believe there were, but the art of weaving them has been lost. But the only evidence now surviving in folk stories. The tale of the fisherman and the beast also mentions a moonlight gown. But Nico and Maisie are still too young for that one, so I'm afraid it'll have to wait.
Huh? No fair.
Huh. You sure know a lot of weird and wonderful stories, Miss Linnea.
Indeed! I'm sure you've noticed by now. The world is so vast, with so many secrets yet to discover. Even the things we think we know may well have unfamiliar backstories, like moonfall silver. The same goes for rainbow drop crystals, in fact. Each region of Teyvat has its own unique minerals, and just like people from different nations have different customs, rocks from different places have their own distinct characteristics too. If you have the patience to listen, you may discover that even silent crystals begin to talk, sharing the stories they have etched into their memories. And not just minerals, life forms, both ancient and new, are beautiful and unique. This world is filled with stories and mysteries of all shapes and sizes. In the instant when a mystery is touched by the light of understanding, countless new possibilities reveal themselves, and the whole world opens up! Sorry, I'm getting a little carried away.
Linnea gets like this when she's talking about things she's interested in. If we ask Miss Linnea what the most beautiful rock in Nagcry is, she's certain to say, "Every rock is beautiful in its own way."
So it's probably better if we ask you two to cast your votes.
The most beautiful rock. What do you think, Traveler? Well, Paimon guesses it does look a bit like a rock. And it sure is pretty.
What about you, Linnea? If you had to choose only one rock that was the most beautiful,
How about we end today's lecture here?
whoa. Miss Linnea is trying to dodge the question.
why don't we invite the Adventurers Guild to host a geological beauty pageant in Nasha Town?
If that happens, we'll need to find a way to ban Dorota from attending.
Yeah. If she's there, she'll do whatever it takes to make Moonfall Silver win. But you can't just ban people from taking part. Of course you'd say that. You're on Team Moonfall Silver.
Trust me, when it comes to local delicacies in Pyramida, nobody knows more than me.
Cleanup sequence in it. Surge.
All is accounted for. Let's move out. Hold the line!
I don't...
Outrider Amber, report. I'll race you there.
Defensive mode engaged.
You want...
We can do this! Dance. Huh, huh. Huh. These toppings.
What is that pleasant aroma? What is that pleasant aroma? Huh? Perfume? What is...
Oh my. Oh my.
I miss the taste of grilled.
This is my latest work. I'll read it to you.
Lining up? For soup that Columbina's serving?
Just a moment.
Wow! This is really good! Refreshing, tasty fruit soup! Paimon's never had anything quite like it!
Another serving?
Make that two!
Yes. I asked Anefa for some basic recipes, and I've made several attempts. The Kuhenkian animals have both responded quite positively. Well, my sleeves are too wide. They brush against the pot if I'm not careful. I struggle somewhat with making desserts, though. You have to get the temperature and proportions just right. Sure. Let's start with crumb kake, shall we? Would you like to try one? What do you think?
Did Paimon miss anything? Ah! It's so sour! What are you trying to do to Paimon? It's all about the initial taste! Couldn't one of you have warned me to take a smaller bite? If you hadn't said anything, Paimon would have thought this was a prank. Watching people's faces pucker or something.
Okay, let me try again. Here, try this batch.
Really? Paimon wants some too! That's the stuff! Oh, so tasty!
Good enough to be given as a gift?
Totally! Wait, did you learn how to cook and make crumb kake because you wanted to make a present for someone?
Yes, for my friends. Do you still remember the first time you came here together? You had prepared some food for me. Though the food couldn't do much to replenish the power I had lost, eating it did make me feel more relaxed. I did not give it much thought then, but now I understand. The time and effort put into carefully preparing food by hand is what gives it soul. What I enjoyed was not simply the food itself, but the warmth and kindness in the hands that made it. And the less those hands seek reciprocity, the greater the warmth and kindness required to match it in turn.
Aww, Paimon's gonna blush if you go on like that. To be honest, we were at least kinda hoping to get on your good side back there.
Indeed.
But now that I understand all this, I'd like to do a little more. It's a wonderful feeling. Would you come with me to visit our friends? Apart from the crumb cake, I have also prepared a few other gifts. But they must be sent in secret.
Why in secret? If you don't mind Paimon asking.
Well, you've always been the ones to pleasantly surprise me. I'd like to see how my friends will react when the tables are turned.
Phew! We were running all over! Finally done! Their reactions were kind of surprising, though. Some didn't even realize they were gifts from you, Columbina.
It's fine. I expected as much. What's important is that they were happy to receive the gifts.
In that case, Luma definitely knew the crumb cakes and wreath on her desk came from you. Paimon can understand her being hesitant about wearing the wreath, but seriously, she stared at the crumb cakes for a good 10 minutes and still couldn't bring herself to eat one.
It seems Yehoda got quite the fright, though. Perhaps we shouldn't have slipped the gifts directly behind her.
Maybe she's just naturally more alert? Still, she seemed to calm down when Asher came over to pot the scratching post you sent.
As for our other friends who aren't in Notcry, I'm counting on you to deliver their gifts. Here.
Ooh, is it finally our turn? Huh? Candies? Paimon thought we'd get crumb cakes like everyone else.
Well, you already had some of those while taste testing. Some variety is nice, don't you think? That's good to hear. And there's one more gift. Here, for you. I've heard it said that the skies belong to the birds, and the land to the beasts, while the vast space between the two is reserved for adventurers wearing wing gliders. With this by your side, may your path forward ever be lit as with moonlight. And thank you for your companionship. I'm almost done reading this secret unreleased story that Miss Nicole sent us. What should I read to you all today?
You want to see my archive? Of course! I'm always happy to show off my masterpiece. I even did the illustrations. Shadows of Fate!
The hunter becomes the hunted.
frozen to death. Show 'em, Lumi!
Behold, the dawn! You got this!
Nah, ha! Let me leave my... I never leave empty-handed. You're my target! Like it or lump it!
As shiny as Mora, the Golden Loach King of the Loachy world.
And did Paimon just hear someone say something about gold?
You sure did! I discovered this uniquely colored golden loach while exploring up north. It was the only one in the area with such a distinctive color. It's thriving now, and I've had a doctor who knows about animals take a look. The color doesn't seem to be caused by anything pathological.
Then why does it look so different?
It could be any number of things. Habitat, environment, the characteristics of the water it lives in, climate, even its diet. But if you're asking me to pin it down to one specific reason, I'm afraid I just don't know. Why would it? It's such a rare phenomenon, I'm incredibly lucky just to have witnessed it. Being able to document my discovery, draw inferences, and make conjectures is more than enough for me.
It's just like a pink frostfin whale. They say, if you get the chance to see a pink frostfin whale, your wishes will come true. But they're super duper rare. Even so, we saw one once, when we were with Linnea. I think it was because she brought us good luck.
Wow! We should go look for one too! Oh, Paimon has so many wishes. Which one should the whale grant first?
It's probably just wishful thinking.
So, pink whales don't have mystical powers?
Well, there are some examples of some creatures with special colors possessing unique abilities. But the frostfin whale we saw probably wasn't one of them. If people were just making wishes, that would be one thing. I'm just worried someone might hurt it because they believe those fanciful stories.
Huh? Would people really do that?
I know this one! Katya told me that some really nasty treasure hunters hunt animals with unusual colors to sell them to collectors.
That's right. There was a time when animals from Natland were highly prized on the black market. Live specimens in particular. But bones and furs would also fetch a high price. Some merchants looking to sell their smuggled goods at inflated prices would even go so far as to process and alter them, packaging them as some kind of fantasy product before selling them to customers. There was a case I heard where poachers removed the feet from cuckoosaurs to make them more aesthetically pleasing and easier to transport. Collectors who'd never seen a cuckoosaurus before actually thought they were naturally legless, spending their entire lives soaring through the sky, living off wind and dew, like some kind of marvel of nature. Their reckless pursuit of the exotic only fueled the poachers' wickedness. They created a whole smuggling network born from greed and deceit, causing untold harm and suffering.
Yahoo!
In a sea of evil deeds, even a relatively minor act, such as dyeing a creature to change its color, is still wrong.
So, should we give that silver capybara a bath? Was it also dyed this color by nasty poachers?
I don't think that'll be necessary. When I found it, it was taking a soak in a hilly churl's cooking pot. Maybe it thought it was a hot spring? There can't be that many born with fur like that. It's probably why the smugglers took it.
Paimon can totally imagine what it must have looked like in that cooking pot.
Right? Despite its unique color, it still has the same nature and temperament as other capybaras.
Come to think of it, we caught a white weasel thief once before too.
The Mora thief! What happened to it in the end?
We let it go. Hopefully it's learned its lesson and won't go near any more Fatui research facilities. Unlike our capybara friend, its change in color must be an acquired trait. Perhaps a result of being exposed to such high concentrations of Kuvaki.
That makes sense. When Paimon thinks about it like that, it seems being unique isn't always a good thing. Just thinking about how some creatures might suffer because they're different. Or that the only reason they're different is that something bad happened to make them that way.
It might sound a little selfish, but if Lumi wasn't such a special little Jack Frost, we might never have become partners to begin with.
Yahoo! Yahoo!
So, it's not always a bad thing either?
If being different brought the two of you together, then of course it's a good thing.
I remember Helka mentioning a saying from Layaway in one of her letters. Something about blessings and misfortune.
Every misfortune conceals a blessing, and every blessing hides misfortune.
That's the one. By the way, Miss Linnea, you're being awfully quiet. Where's all that teacher energy gone?
I never thought I'd see the day when you'd be calling me out, Nico.
Well, you were once part of the Conch King too, Miss Linnea. Ugh. Anyway, why don't we just drop all this deep stuff for today? And you can tell us about the Volkodlok. Are they really that strong? How do they compare to Snegovic and Leshy?
There are many fascinating stories about the Volkodlok that I could tell you. But they'll have to wait for next time.
Ugh, not next time again. All right, but you'd better remember.
Lumi is just too cute! But she does have a bad habit of swallowing any shiny thing she lays her eyes on. So keep your valuables well away, or you might never see them again. Sorry for making you sit through that. Seriously? That's wonderful!
Hey, I just realized something. You all went to see that Frostfin whale without me!
You were the one who overslept.
Huh? In that case, make sure to wake me up next time.